Something that has always gotten on my fucking nerves is whenever I meet the type of person who is like, oh, Tamia, you're so nice, I can tell you anything. I feel like I can talk to you about anything. You're so loving and caring and nice and kind. And then when it actually comes to an event where they could be honest with me, they aren't. Like those same people will praise me, and then the second, and like, oh my god, ooh, like this one dude. I remember this is one of my first traumatic Christmas memories. Technically, I'm sure I've had more, but this one was really bad. I remember there's this dude named Maxwell. I dated him in high school, on and off. It was supposed to just be a fling, but like, oh, how do I put this? He was one of the first hard lessons I learned about how men see sex and love and romance. And oh my god, it's amazing that 7 years later I am not a total fucking misandrist. Let's just say the simple agreement was that I was supposed to be just some bitch who sucks his dick every now and then. But no, he couldn't just have that. He wanted more. He wanted to get to know me. He wanted to have a connection with me in passion and a fling and romance. And he went out of his way to try to get that. And then let's just say I remember he knew how hard Christmas was for me when I was younger. You know, it was a terrible fucking time. And then you know what he decided? He was like, we could do like Christmas gift trading, and I could take you out to the mountains and give you like peppermint candies and hot cocoa. I could even make you peppermint hot chocolate. Wouldn't you like that? We could have like a nice little thing and get you away from all that. And you don't have to think or stress or be alone for that day because I know how much it means to me, to you. I was like, okay, bet. And then this motherfucker, it like, oh, let's just say you don't know how fucked up it felt to know that I spent so much of what little money I had trying to build this man like a fucking Christmas gift and all that. And then just waiting like for the like as the days ticked on, his responses got slower and then he entirely vanished. And I want you to just be like, okay, imagine you're 17 years old, you don't have any real fucking money because you spent most of it trying to get a good gift with some guy, and he's not picking you up or coming to get you. So you have to spend this shitty holiday season just alone, curled up on the top bunk of your bed while your grandmother is on the bottom bunk, shitting her brains out, sharding, farting, being a cunt, Golden Girls and Two and a Half Men blasting on the TV, and just like miserable as fuck in a household full of abusive and neglectful, awful, awful, terrible people. Doesn't feel very fucking good, as you can imagine. It wasn't the first time he had ghosted me. Sadly, he did it like two other times, but he always came back, usually with excuses about like, ooh, his mom went through our phone and saw our texts and our sex or whatever, or like, so, and it was believable enough. And why would I not believe him? Because he always came back, right? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to see good in other people and believe them. Like if someone says they like you, you're supposed to believe them and not just be always on guard. I'm not gonna cry, I'm just frowning so hard that it's hurting my forehead. Yeah, and anyway, let's just say it took months for me to actually get in contact with him. I finally got in contact with him, like, let's just say I managed to eventually one day I found his Instagram and reached out to him. He blocked me immediately after like a month of no contact, and that's how I knew it was serious. So then I waited another month. I specifically catfished him. I found him on Craigslist again, and I could detect it was him. I made a fucking account and said my name was Maria, and used some random photos that I could find online that couldn't be Google reverse image searched. I hope the random girl on Tumblr is like, I'm glad nothing, it all worked out for its best. Nothing felt quite. I still have the video, actually, in my Google Drive documents of me recording myself walking up behind this nigga. I made him buy me food and everything. I was like, buy us food and meet me at this specific location. And he was like, yeah, that sounds good. Can't wait to see you, Maria. I was like, yeah. And then I show up and it's just me. I yanked the sunglasses off his face and said, we need to have a talk. And I forced this man to like tell me everything he felt and to apologize to me. But he did explain that, simply put. And also, what hurt the most is that as I was catfishing as Maria, it's like he was making the exact same promises to her that he made to me. And I kind of egged it on because at some point I thought, how obvious can I make it that I'm me, I'm Tamia, I'm not Maria. He's talking, how much can I talk to him before he has a deja vu, this is way too uncannily similar moment? But it never clicked to him because he's not a smart man. But it infuriated me that it's like, oh, so he had something with me and now he's looking for it in someone new after fucking destroying me. And anyway, his explanation was that he didn't want to hurt my feelings or break my heart, but that he felt things were getting too serious. Mind you, he was the one who initiated all of it. I was the one who was just happy sucking his dick. He was the one who was trying to, like, in the back of the fucking movie theater, like, wrap his arms around me and snuggle and cuddle and have pet names and do this and do that and take me out to dinner and to the movies and, like, and making up all these hypotheticals. He didn't, and, like, he didn't need to do any of that. I could have just been the bitch sucking his dick. And if he wanted like a more romantic fling, he could have been like, hey, how about we have like a temporary like Christmas fling that ends around the holidays, and we just like, we keep it playful and light, but we know it's gonna end. I would have been down for that shit too. I was a bored teenager who didn't need extra trauma and wanted a relief and release. The last thing I needed was extra fucking bullshit. But you know what he gave me? Extra fucking bullshit. And it's just like, how are you gonna try to instigate saying that you want a relationship with me, that you want to date me, all this bullshit, and then you leave once your ego's satiated and once it seems like, oh shit, I might actually have to hold up her end of the deal. And it's like, he didn't need to make any of the promises, he didn't need to do anything, he did, and then he just was like, oh well, I didn't want to break your heart by just cutting things off or trying to talk to you up front. I fucking hate people like that. Cowards are the worst to me. Oh, it's really amazing that with all the stories I have, I am not a misandrist. But I'm working on it. I think that's my New Year's resolution, is to be more disrespectful to men. Excluding the ones who are chill on here. I love you. Platonically. Um, those with sense, you are great. I try to think everyone has sense, or like backbone. Not everyone does. And that annoys me. Anyway, that story ends with, ironically, Maxwell gave me the Mexican food, some apologies, and a ride most of the way home. And then he blocked me on everything and went back to posting on Craigslist again. I was gonna catfish him a second time, but he knew it was me. But yeah, that's how that story ends. Fuck you, Maxwell Brindle. I hate you to this day. Any bad that befalls on you is a blessing. Amen. I don't care how long it's been. If that nigga got murked in the street, I would just wake up with a spring in my step and not know why. I'm just saying. I know that sounds morbid, but I don't give a fuck. Because fuck him. I was a suicidal teenager going through enough at fucking home, and he knew that, and he put me in a position to suffer worse. So if someone gave him the same treatment as Carlos from Saints Row 2, and they just had a chain, a pickup truck, and a few hours of spare time in an isolated area, I'm just saying, I would love to see that. Mwah, masterpiece. And I know you're like, hey Tamia, do you think these, like, yeah, actually no, I'm not even gonna intermission with any fucking hypothetical clapbacks. Let's segue to the next. The guy was with him, I think, like after Matthew. I know that there was a few other people sprinkled here and there, but the big one was Maddie. I hate Maddie. I actually try to avoid talking to him, but with every person I date, it usually is mandatory that it comes up at least once. Like, don't worry, not all the time, but it's like in a serious relationship, it's like, sadly, this is the little lore that you're gonna have to hear. Maddie was very similar. He was like, you know what? To me, like, yeah, me and Maddie were supposed to just meet up off of Reddit. It was just supposed to be a quick little fuck. I remember, like, I met up with him. It really was a quick little fuck. He nutted fast as hell with me, but it felt nice. He had a fat ass, and he was pretty cute and stuff. But then, to my surprise, after we got done with sex, and I thought, okay, that bought me a few hours out of my fucked up abusive household. You know what Maddie did? He looked at me and he was like, oh, hey, out of curiosity, like, would you like to stay and have like more conversation? I liked how we talked like before sex happened, and I'd be interested in that if you would. And then guess what? Then we met up, we played video games, we even had sex as we played video games. Have you ever played like Mario Kart while you're trying to distract the other person by sucking them off? It's great. Um, and then we had such a splendid time, and then we went out to get Jack in the Box, and he paid for my food, and we had a lovely time, and I enjoyed myself. And let's just say he was very smitten with me off the bat. Like, I think we met up like once or twice. No, I think it was like once. And then before our second meetup, I was already his phone screensaver because we took a selfie on our first meetup. I was already his phone screensaver. All his, like, I met his friends on the second meet, and they were like, holy shit, Maddie would not stop talking about you, like, endlessly. And it was like, they were really like, he would not shut the fuck up. Like, he was just saying, like, really, he wouldn't. And so, and even his own family was like, okay, you know what? You're really yapping about this girl. Can we meet her? And so the second meetup, I remember I met his friends. And then the very next day, I met his family. And we went out to, like, this nice national park, regional park, whatever. And they had the tall redwoods. And I got to bond with his, like, two dads. And I got to, oh, that was a sweet time. I had a wonderful, excellent time. And let's just say a part of me still was like, he's acting a little bit too perfect off the bat. Let me, like, before I knew, I don't recall if I knew about the word love bombing back then, but I did think to myself, he does like me a little bit too fast. And I don't know, I liked it though. What happened though is eventually after some point, me and him were hanging out in his bed and stuff and talking, and eventually the topic of his girl best friend, who I had barely heard about very much at that point, came up. And I was like, oh, who's Jalea? And then he was like, oh, Jalea, she's like, he talked about her, and then like he did this Disney ass, like after a little bit of talking about like some memories with her in high school and stuff. I was being chill because he wasn't my boyfriend or anything, but I still was also like, hey, I'm gonna see what he tells me. And this nigga full on was like, yeah, she's so just wow. He openly did that as I'm like naked in bed across from him. I'm like, do you have feelings for her? You can just tell me. And he was like, what? No, no, I see her as just only a friend. Only ever a friend. Like 100%. Like there would never be anything between me and her. Anyway, would it be a Timidity story if we didn't have the next part? Let's try to stop my, oh, I hate it. Like I said, when I retell these stories, everything plays out like a fucked up VHS. So that's why sometimes I'll tell stories and cry. These are repressed memories, so I'm trying my best to stay calm here. I'll sum it up like this. At some point, me and Maddie were becoming more consistent, but he still wasn't asking me to be his girlfriend. And I remember specifically how it happened. He messaged me. He was like, I've been thinking about it, and you're the only girl I've ever wanted. I want to date just you. I have wanted no one else but you. You're the light of my life. I've been adored with you and obsessed with you this entire month that we've been like a thing together, and I can't get enough of you. I see you every day. You're perfect for me, and I would like to have you as my girlfriend if you would. And I said, I would love that. Yes, thank you so much. And then, like, the second I said yes, and I was like, finally, I can open my heart up to love after a million traumatic heartbreaks that have made me feel like living isn't worth it, and that there's nothing to look forward to on this planet. You want to know what happened next? He got silent. Like, zero reaction. He told me over text on Discord, of course. Or was it a phone call? I'm pretty sure it was text. But yeah. And then he was silent, and then for a while, and I was like, hey, are you okay? He was like, yeah, I'm fine. But mind you, this is Maddie. Maddie responds to things in like zero point 0.1 milliseconds when it came to me. Every text with him was fast, so you can imagine the nervousness I got where the second I said yes, suddenly he was quiet for 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 25 minutes. Mind you, this is Maddie. He responds in a fucking millisecond to me. I knew something was up. I said, hey, is something the matter? He was like, no, no, 100%. Everything's fine. Everything's good. And then hours passed. And I remember as hours passed and my anxiety was getting so fucking bad. I felt it in my gut. I felt it in my heart, my lungs, my mind, everything. I had told myself everything is fine and good. And I told my friends about this. They were happy for me. They were like, you've been through so much, Timothy. You really deserve this happiness. And I even was looking through our lovey-dovey text messages and our sex tapes when I just see a notification pop up on the top of the screen that says, hey, I'm sorry, but I can't be with you. And then just like, I instantly shattered. I'm not kidding when it said it felt like I actually like died like fucking 12,000 times in that moment. Like I got sunk into like some deep layer of hell. I don't know what I did in the past life to deserve this, but let's just say I opened the message and it wasn't just him saying anything. Like it wasn't just, how do I put this? He went as ham as he could. He was like, hey, um, listen, I'm sorry, but I don't have any feelings for you. I never did. I actually have had feelings for Jalea this whole time. She means the world to me and you mean nothing to me. And then he sends this huge fucking paragraph basically talking about how he's gonna leave me for Jalea. And mind you, for context, Jalea is a bitch that lives in like fucking Mississippi or Missouri or something. Me and him were like a bridge away with an easy to access like bus or two. And he was like, he just fully was like, yeah, fuck this girl I've been seeing almost every single day for a month. I'm gonna abandon her for the chance to have a texting relationship with a girl I used to be best friends with back in the day over the phone. He chose a Snapchat relationship over me, and we had raw sex for the first time. I had never had raw sex with anybody. And mind you, I'm a sex addict, so my sex drive was already high, but imagine what that did to me. Trying that for the first time with him because I trusted him and thought he would never fucking hurt me. It's like, oh, a few days after that, you just, what a fucking cunt. Let's just say, I'm holding it surprisingly together. I remember I was like, okay, I understand, but why are you talking to me this way? You don't have to. Hey, can you just, like, call me? Like, and we can talk about this? He said, no, I can't. And I said, why not? He said, I just can't. And then I said, I want you to delete every fucking sex tape you have on your phone right now and send me screenshots to make sure you did, that it's all trashed and garbage. He was like, all right. And he sent me screenshots to prove that he did. But what hurt the most is that I saw that he was on the phone with someone for 3 fucking hours. So that, and I did the math, so it means that the second I said that I had feelings for him, he got on the phone with Jalea. He didn't have the decency to, like, And then on top of that, I said, what, you can't spare like 2 minutes or like 10 minutes to talk to me? We had a thing. And he just was like, no, I don't want to. And listen, and he basically, I don't want to relive this, but I want to say it. To ease the pain of my mind tonight, or else I'm going to get so depressed and we don't know what will happen next. Because I do bad things sometimes. I'll say it like this. He said, I'm in love with Jalea and I never had feelings for you. Now, if you don't like what just happened, you can either catch these hands or kick rocks. I mean, wait, no, he said specifically, like, he brought Jalea into it. He actually was like, oh, and Jalea said, like, he just went on his whole blah, 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 I have feelings for Jalea, and me and you are never a thing, and we were never a serious couple, and get over it. Also, and then he said, also, Jalea said that if you don't like what just happened, you can either catch these hands or kick rocks. And it's like, why are you tag teaming my ass? It's like, also, this, he was statutory with me, because it's like, I'm 17. He was like, what, 19, almost 20? And she's like 21, 22. So it's like, you got some random old bitch tag teaming against a 17-year-old at all. And what made this hurt more is that also, like, a few days before this, like, he had been pretty consistent about, like, hey, if you're going through, like, abuse at home, you can just always come over to mine and sleep at mine. If you're going through troubles at home, just come to mine. Like, I want to keep you safe. You don't deserve to suffer. Just be here anytime because, like, oh, Jesus, it's hitting me like a truck. No wonder. Oh, I hate that. If it makes anyone feel better, Maddie got so much hate from basically everyone in his life over this. They didn't know how severe and harsh he went. They just knew that he broke up with me, and like his buddy Marco was like, "You mean to fucking tell me that you told that girl you had so many feelings for her and you were acting like you were practically in love with her. You were yapping our ears off about how endlessly in love with her you were. And you saw her every fucking day, sex every fucking day, talking every fucking day, every second of the day. And then the second this bitch who lives in another state pops by, you just toss her out like hot fucking garbage. You promised her, Maddie. You promised that you would take her out of her fucked up home environment and be a sanctuary for her. And you abandoned her just because there was a chance at some new fucking fish. Like some new fucking bitch. Like, really? And like his buddy Marco went fucking ham. His like oh my god, they actually even were like, they demanded that they get my social media and information from him because they wanted to check in on me, and they were very sweet. They were like, I don't know what would have happened if they hadn't reached out. Even his own fucking dad was furious and literally dragged Maddie out of bed at midnight and was like, I want to make sure you're making the right decision, but are you fucking sure? Because you were in love with Tamia. You were acting like you weren't, but you were. And you just tossed her out so quick over some girl who doesn't even live remotely near you. Are you sure this is the right decision? Like, he said that because he was pissed on my behalf, but also because he was worried for his son, because it was such a spontaneous, sudden decision, and he wanted to make sure it was the right one. There's a few ways I can go in this conversation, but to stay on topic, let's just say eventually I had to go back to Maddie's to get my stuff. It took 2 trips. The second trip was so bad I don't want to talk about it. The first trip, let's say this. I told Maddie that I wanted to meet up and get my stuff, but I did kind of say I would like to talk for a few minutes if that's okay with you. Oh my god. One of his dads was on the couch just eating popcorn and watching fucking Riverdale. But when I walked in and they saw me with the sunglasses and the death glare on my face, and then I saw them, I was like, "Oh hey!" And I took off my sunglasses trying to be all cheery, but you could tell my eyes were swollen. Like I looked like I got beat the fuck up in the face. Oh, like so much happened in the span of time, like in the week between me and Maddie breaking up and me and Maddie meeting again for the first time. I tried to kill myself several times. I stabbed myself in the wrist with I forget if I think it was a pencil or was it a pen. All I know is this wrist also kind of struggled to draw after that point the same way. Fucking cunt. And then yeah, immense trauma. And it was fucking terrible. But yeah, his fucking gay dad was like, oh, his gay stepdad was like, oh, hey. Like, he was like, I'm strapped in to watch this shit too. Like, you could even tell that they turned the TV off fully to try to eavesdrop on me and Maddie's shit. But I read Maddie for filth. But me, I'm still sadly a caring person. So even though I definitely got my chops off, I explained everything that happened. Like, what happened, but like every fucking detail about how bad the trauma was for me as Maddie sat there folded up looking at the floor, feeling sad as fuck. I was like, you're gonna fucking look at me. And I made him stare at me as I do eye contact. He looked like he wanted to kill me. He looked like that angry painting of like Lucifer. But it's like, yeah, nigga, you're a grown ass man who dogged a teenager. You didn't need to do any of that. But I was still soft and understanding because I care and I want to know people's perspectives and why they do what they do. And I guess I eventually, I heard him out and he explained his thoughts. And the sad thing is, I would have heard him out in the first fucking place had he done anything else. But the thing that noteworthy he said to me, he said the reason he went so ham on me was because he had really liked me and he was scared that he wouldn't be able to pull the trigger and end things with me had he not been as hard as possible. Because he felt in his chest that, like, yes, he liked Jalea, he had feelings and always wanted a chance with her ugly ass, but he also still had feelings for me. And he had the feeling that if he picked up the phone with me, he would realize why he liked me again. He would get feelings for me again. And he wouldn't be able to leave. And he wanted to be firm in his decision because he was sure that he loved Jalea. And he thought to himself, I don't want Tamia to hate me and she's going to hate me because I'm going to leave her for this girl mere hours after saying she was the only one I ever wanted. I could have stomached that. It would have hurt like fucking shit. But I could have stomached that. But the fact that Maddie said he went so ham because he figured I would hate him anyway. And he figured that if he went as gruesomely hard as possible to make me hate him, that it would help. That I would be able to move on without a single care, without a single regret, and just be like, fuck him, he's a red flag anyway. And I'd be able to get the fuck over it and brush him off like fucking dirt off my shoulder and be over him. And he could just like have zero guilt about anything and just like forcefully end it, rip it off like a band-aid, make it end quick as fuck, and fully throw himself into his new life with Jalea. What a miserable fucking cunt. All of them. Both of them. I'll just say it like this. That destroyed me from the inside fucking out. And I just thought to myself, and I had told him, I was like, I could have understood all of this. I wouldn't have been mad at you, Maddie. Leaving me for like another girl, sure, I would have been caught by surprise. I was shocked and I was hurt, definitely. But if you would have just picked up and said that, hey, Tamia, you still mean a lot to me and you meant a lot to me and I'm grateful to have met you and you can still be friends with me, and if you still need a sanctuary you can come by here sometime and you can still hang out with us. I like And I told him I could have settled with losing you as a romantic partner because I it's fine, but losing you as a friend, and like it's like every single bit of joy and bliss, like it wasn't just losing like just some guy I was fucking, it was losing like the first perceived safe friend I had in years, and all your other friends that were your friends, and safety from a troubled life. It hurt because I just wanted you to treat me like a friend, and that's all I wanted, and you couldn't do that. He's such a piece of shit. And if you're wondering how the rest of this story goes, let's just say me and Maddie got like a little affectionate, sort of, by the end of the talk. I like long talks with people because once people let out their emotions and say how they felt and what they meant, if they don't hold back, I feel like catharsis comes and it's euphoric and wonderful and peaceful and it feels great. Only immature motherfuckers avoid that. And I've met plenty of those. And they like me because I'm the mature one who's so otherworldly to them, and I hate it. It's disgusting. I wish more people could be like me. At least in the aspect of thoughtfulness like this. But whatever. Let's just say towards the end of our conversation and when I tried to go back home, he tried to allude that he thinks he made the wrong choice. And to finish off this tale, let's just say several things happened. I fucked his best friend after he broke my heart. I eventually told Maddie about it months later, which was funny because his ex-girlfriend Jalea then spent like 2 days yapping at me from other phone numbers as abrasively as possible, just irate. Maddie said he didn't care, but secretly he was sending fucking screenshots, like secretly calling up his friends crying and shit in a rage. Which I'm sure pissed off Jalea more, because it's like, bitch, you've been separated from this girl for how fucking long? Like, almost a year? Or, like, give or take, roughly? I don't know. Actually, I think it was a few months at that point, but still. Also, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Maddie also moved to Missouri or Mississippi or bumfuck wherever because his own dad was like, hey, cool, you have a job, but you have to pay rent. You can't just stay here all the time, like, mooching off of us and, like, you know, yeah, not doing any chores, and then also, like, Snapchatting a girl that we hate endlessly. And, anything else that, so yeah, he moved away. I fucked his best friend. That didn't go well, or it went okay, you know. Ish. It was terrible. It was a terrible decision, but I'm still happy I did it. Because it pissed Maddie off and made him upset. Like, he was trying to act like it didn't phase him, but he was secretly crying and screaming on the phone with Marco, like, why the fuck did you betray me like that? Why did you fuck my girl? And that made Jalea mad, so of course she crashed out for several days over it with her stupid corny ass. Also, she was so corny and she's not cute. I really don't get the appeal. Like, she's just an evil bitch. Oh my god, she's weird. Um, Oh, and then years passed, and during the pandemic, Marco actually told me that Maddie tried to reach out to him and be like, hey, do you have Tamia's, like, social media or, like, phone number or anything? And he, like, because I guess he was trying to spin the block. But Marco asked him, aren't you still with Jalea? And then Maddie went, I mean, kind of, sorta. Why? And Marco yet again went off. He was like, bitch, you know fucking better. You know better. Why? Like, he went off. Like, you know, Marco was a dick bitch ass nigga, but he didn't play about me in those regards. So, you know, but yeah, what an interesting time. But yeah, he had a terrible fucking time, obviously, in Missouri or Mississippi because, yeah. Yeah, he chose wrong, but oh well. Another time, actually, this one's a brief one, and I hate this guy. His name was Devin. Fuck you, Devin Ang. To this day, you're a disgusting, vile piece of shit, and I wish I never had any experiences with you. But, oh well. I can't even say anything good about this guy. Let's just say I remember, instead of just dumping me over text or over phone call or whatever, I don't know, like, I know breakups are hard, but this idiot was like, I promised Tamia that I would not use her for sex like she has been with any other guy. But it turns out I just wanted sex all along. And she's great, but I feel like I've gotten enough nuts out of her. And I don't want to, like, have to keep taking her out and stuff. And mind you, he wasn't paying for shit. It was just like, oh no, meeting up with, like, Tamia and talking to her about anime and stuff. and then I can't like guaranteed get my dick sucked every single time. Wow, like nigga, you're paying for your own shit. I don't. Oh man, if I oh man, we are lucky I don't have a time machine. I would be whooping ass. Let's just say he decided, like I was like, hey, do you want to meet up soon? He was like, sure, let's go on a date. We went on a date. If I recall, I paid for my own ticket. I think I even paid for his because I had the Stubbs membership. This asshole was talking full volume during the movie several times, but then during the huge climax of the movie Your Name, a Japanese animated film, this nigga literally was like, this movie is basic, like, during the huge ending that was making people cry and tear up. This nigga was in the front row next to me, like, oh my god, this movie is just ripping off 30 Seconds to Mars, because in 30 Seconds to Mars with the direct, and he was yelling. Like, and it's like, people were yelling behind him, oh my god, shut the fuck up, and throwing popcorn at us. And I was so embarrassed that I ran out the theater and fled. And I thought to myself, I don't want to go back to that theater. I should just block him. I really should have. But he caught up with me. Sadly, not my first instance of running out of a movie theater trying to escape a date and a guy catching up with me. But he did, and for some reason he just was like, yeah, let's keep hanging out. And then we went to a photo booth together, and in the photo booth, like I remember like the first few pictures are cute, like fun. And then when I was like, here, let's go in for a kiss, I tried to go in for a kiss. This nigga gone mush my face away, put his arm around me, and then smile and thumbs up at the camera. And I just thought, like, this nigga just was fun, like, oh. Sorry, Carmichael, sorry. But that nigga fucking mushed me. And I think I paid for the fucking photo booth things too. Bitch, I paid for the, and I paid, oh my god. And anyway, let's just say I think like at some point though we when I got back home, he texted me some more and things dwindled down. We texted like the next day happened, we texted some more. Things were coming pretty good and they were going pretty well. It's like, okay, I was slowly forgetting about how mortifying that day was because I was like, I'm just happy that we're still in contact. I remember it was so awkward because I sent him like, as he was asleep, I sent him this massive paragraph about like how much I liked his presence and how grateful I am that after so much trauma I get to be in touch with him, we get to be friends, and like that, like all of that goodness. Guess what text I woke up to in the morning? Like first thing in the morning, like fucking 6, 8 a.m. A breakup text. And the nigga also had the nerve to, when I, of course, got eventually upset over it, which took a while, because back then I was way too nice about that. Like, it took, like, fucking, I think, like, days, if I recall correctly, for me to actually bring up, like, how all of that was fucked up. And he tried to pull the, oh, now you're gonna accuse me of using you for sex just like every other guy, huh? And I felt bad about that for years, and only in the past, like, 2 years did I have the epiphany of, yes, he did. You did use me for sex like every other fucking guy. If you don't like fucking if the shoe fits, bitch. Oh my god. And but anyway, his excuse for the whole shitty fucking last date that he also went out of his way to make terrible. He was like, "Oh, well, you're just so nice, and I figured I should give you like a nice final memory to end things on a good note." You gave me the worst memory ever. Like that, it's like, nigga, I would have preferred a text. I would have preferred a fucking text. I was like, I would, oh. It's like, oh, okay, I'm so glad that, like, I kind of had this epiphany today that any time of me being overly nice in a relationship or with other people, friendships, romances, it usually resulted in someone preying on the fact that I was nice to take advantage of me. Or they would also just take advantage of my kindness and being ungrateful and just kind of expecting it instead of just being like, oh, I should reciprocate this, or I should be nice to her. Or three, it would be someone who's a total fucking coward and really does like me, but then they're just so cowardly that they're like, she's gonna hate me anyway. I should just like hurt her in the hardest way possible. Like just overkill with how bad it is. I thought like I wouldn't be shocked if Devin also was trying to make the date bad so that it could feel like I wasn't missing out. I don't know. That shit is like whenever I hear stories about these people who just like in a relationship, they'll start being as cruel as possible to the person they're dating so that they don't have to be the one to be the bad guy and break up. That's so stupid. You are the bad guy. You're not smart. You're not smart. And this all segues to my final topic, the one that made me make this video. You know that music producer guy I had a crush on? That guy. So with him, I was digging him. And just like how most of these stories start, he did not need, like, oh, you already know. I was fine with him just being the guy sending me dick pics with like mild flirtations, but no, he went out of his way to be like, "Good morning, hi, you deserve all the attention, so I'm gonna make sure I talk to you as much as I can first thing in the morning tomorrow," and like being overly like a certain way. Like I didn't start this shit. Oh, I did not. Oh, and then it was so fucked up that just like all of these traumatic stories, it's always when I'm like, because I was talking to my homegirl, she was like, "Girl, you said you were on the phone with him for like 5 hours. Ooh, and he contacted you as soon as he got off work to try to call you again. Ooh, he likes you. He likes you. You should open your heart up to love, Timothy. You should, cause it's so good. And you know what? You shouldn't be afraid anymore. Like, love is good and kind and can bless you and can come when you're not expecting it. So simply put, even if it does not work out, it doesn't diminish what you've had. You should still like see it. You shouldn't be so afraid that something bad will happen." And right as I was like, "She's fine. This guy is acting like he likes me, so I should trust that he likes me. Not everyone is just like, every bad person I've met before. I should open my heart and love." Wrong! Guess what? Almost immediately, that nigga fucked that shit up. He fucking ruined it. Anyway, though, last night I actually did start to have a conversation with him because of how badly he fucked up. Let's just say, very weird when the guy who's the one who's messaging you super fast, because you didn't ask him to message you super fast. He's doing that on his own accord. You didn't ask him to text more lovey-dovey. He's doing that on his own accord. Like, all this bullshit. This asshole. Ooh, girl. Girl. Because he went off on me on some, "Why do I need to talk to you all the time? It's not like I'm ever gonna meet you, and you're so far away, and you're just a stranger anyway," and da 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 da, and rapid firing like hella cruel shit. And it's like, buddy, I just straight up was like, "We don't have to talk anymore. It's okay." He was like, "No, I want to talk," and I said, "Yeah, but we don't have to anymore. I don't want to. You just, this is done." And he was like, "No, I want," and he kept trying, but it's like, you fucked this up, young blood. I'm not your biggest fan anymore. He ruined it. He ruined it. But I don't know. As the days passed and time went on, and I just still couldn't wrap my mind around it, I thought to myself, either this dude has hated me the whole fucking time and was just mad that he wasn't getting nudes back, or I don't know, or he really had feelings for me and is afraid of his own emotions. I talked to him, let's just say, a little bit of both, leaning to the first one. Like, if you ask him, he'd, like, honestly, no, it seems like it's the first one. And he said the similar things that Maxwell said. But he just kind of, I'm a caring person, sadly. And I kind of asked, like, "Why do you think you needed to go so ham and hurt me to end things? Why did you feel like you couldn't just communicate how you felt with me sooner or safer? You didn't have to go off so hard. I would have loved to have just, like, heard, like, been told this stuff in advance. You know I'm honest. You say I'm honest, and like that you like talking to me. I don't get why you thought that something unsafe would happen if you didn't talk to me, or like you'd be punished somehow, because I thought we were friends, or at least like friendly. That's the vibe you gave off, and it hurts to think that you might have hated my presence this whole time." He was like, "No, I didn't dislike talking," but he did explain, like, he was like, "I don't like myself very much, and sometimes I think it's like," he just kind of figured like, "Oh, it's better if people hate me," because I guess he kind of figured like, if this is a girl who I like and she seems cool, and I'm too pussy to like say my own boundaries or communicate up front, then I'm gonna need to rip off the band-aid and blow up at her once it all becomes too much for me. Because as much as I like her, like, I guess it was like a weird mix of like, he needs his space, but he also was scared to lose me. And I don't know, my guess from what I could perceive and tell is that he really did. I don't know. I don't know if it's just what I want to believe, or basically me being able to see through his facade. But it seemed like there was something there. And it seems like he's trying to avoid it, which is okay. Like, I don't have much to say about it. I don't even want to talk about this guy, but I will. Just not as much as I could. Let's just put it like this. He, think he really did have feelings for me. A little bit too much points to that. It seems like he did have feelings for me and just was not comfortable, like, risking upsetting me because then he could lose me. And then I guess in his own mind, he thought, well, fuck it. If she's going to hate me anyway, if I dare bring this up to her, I might as well blow up at her. And so then he blew up the way he did. And yeah, things fell apart pretty quickly after that. And then he said some more dumb shit that I'm actually trying to repress from my memory. But let's just say I went from being nice to being extremely irate with this man. Yeah, I hate people. I hate their silly little games. I hate their stupid facades. Because it's like, how come when I tell a man I just want sex, they want more? Because their ego can't stand that I don't like them. That's rapey and weird. Why? And then they don't even really want romance. They just want to be able to say they're worthy of romance and then break my fucking heart. So they can brag to their friends about having a hot bitch fall for them and then breaking her heart. What's up with these motherfuckers out here where I say I'm looking for love and they'll try to date me, but deep down they really just want sex and they think they can play the long game and fuck with my emotions? Why are so many. And then it's like the people who ironically could care and might even care. Similar. It's like if I'm such an honest, caring, understanding, thoughtful person you can say anything to, say the fucking words you're afraid of. Say that you were just looking for nudes. Say that you just want sex. Say that you want your ego boosted. Say that you want this, that, and the other. Don't fuck with my head. Shit like that makes me want to blow my fucking brains out. Because ironically, I wouldn't be as mentally disturbed as a person if all these people got their shit together. I remember with the music producer guy, fun fact, I almost killed myself after he blew up at me. Just like I almost did with Maddie, and just like I considered with Maxwell. I had the broken glass in my jewelry box, and I was like, no, no. Because me, I'm someone who's self-aware and in tune with my emotions, unlike these other motherfuckers, and I thought to myself, I can't die sooner than these fucks do. I owe it to myself. And on top of that, I'm a self-aware person, and I communicate with myself. I was like, I'm very smart. My period's gonna come soon. I have premenstrual dysphoric disorder. I'm pretty sure your period's gonna come the next morning. You have an intense wave of emotions each and every single time. And you don't have to do this. You could read web comics or even curse this nigga out or do anything you want because it doesn't fucking matter. Do what makes you happy because everyone else fucking is. And even if it doesn't even make them happy, they still keep fucking doing the same shit that'll hurt them. You don't have to allow yourself to be hurt anymore. The best resistance to this you can do is love yourself, keep bliss, and move the fuck on. And so that's why I'm alive to this day. It just hurts to know some things can still happen. Anyway. Oh, well, I'm lightheaded as fuck. Alright. And I guess if you're like, how are things with the music producer guy? I don't know. I'm attracted to him, but let's just say I already am aware that nothing more is going to happen. He's probably going to get back with his ex. He's too emotionally immature and, no offense, in some areas, very narcissistic. And I just like a coward in some ways and audacious in others. And it's just like, wow, I'm disgusted that I had feelings and saw potential and hope in someone like that. Sometimes I shit on myself for my ability to see hope, but I shouldn't because it's the sole reason I'm alive. Peace out.